Coming up next, Weeknight with Ellie Muller. That's right, it's coming up next on the one and only Nick at Night. When late night TV breaks, we fix it. From the What YouTube Show, and yes, we have Windows. It's Weeknight with Ellie Muller. Tonight, the conversation about Windows with Toys Gaming Spot, MP, and Elephant. Ladies and gentlemen, a man who's going to talk about Windows tonight. Please do not wash your windows with urine. He is the one and definitely the only Mr. Ellie Muller. Ha! Welcome to Weeknight Update. My name is Ellie Muller. What's up, what's up? Alright, the theme song was composed by Dominic Mathis Piano, of course, and Toys Gaming Spot is Weeknight Update Storyteller. And they are two of our Shoutout Spotlight websites. Along with Eva Abney, Gregor, and Hasbro Top in 2004. Hopefully she'll return to this program very, very soon. Pierre Kelly, Megan Lease, and Craftwork Animation. Please check all those people out. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you have cleaned your windows, because it's time for something odd, funny, and clean. Nah, I'm just messing with you. It's time for us to find out what's up. What's up with windows? Every house needs them. What? It's true. Who wants to be in a home without windows, huh? Someone in Brazil recently made a home without windows. That person was born in jail. Now wait. Experts say that opening the windows can allow you to fall asleep faster because the air is soothing. Wait, what about the rats? They know where we are. What? Actually, don't run just yet because it's time for another top 8 list. MP, Elephant, let's go. Boss, first category, top 8 things that can never clean a window. Number 8, vomit. Number 7, urine. Number 6, poop. Number 5, spit. Number 4, your tongue. Number 3, legs. Number 2, armpit hair. And number 1, an eel. Do we need to say anything else? No, we do not. Thank you, boys. Thanks a lot. You know it's right. Hashtag Weeknight Update. Hashtag Elrolf Late Night. Hashtag Elrolf Adult Film. Hashtag Spread Love Around. Hashtag Art is awesome. Get those hashtags and on social media, please. Drive by like this thing, subscribe and bell, check and comment comment section down below. Whatever you do, please do not go anywhere. We will be right back with the in-between monologue, Toy Story, a moment for everyone, all the time, random advice, and this week's Countdown Week question. Remember, this is still Weeknight Update, and now it is your Spotlight.
I'm so glad I ordered a salad.
Chicken? Where's the rest of the chicken?
I only ordered it for the chicken.
There's great TV pleasure at your command. Hello out there from TV land. Nick at Night brings it home to you.
You've been thinking about new carpeting, haven't you? I can tell. Well, you know who has the good stuff, don't you? Empire. You know who delivers in 3 to 4 days? You know whose prices start at only $6.95 a yard, including padding and installation? You know who offers credit terms with no installment payment for 60 days? And you know who gives you a free Bissell rug shampooer with 2 rooms or more. So you just march right over to that telephone and call us right now. Because you know the number 2, don't you? Right. 588-2300. Don't you dare call anybody else.
I gave a surprise baby shower, but I got surprised. As I pulled out my punch bowl set, spots galore.
Oh, Claire. What, Lavelle?
My girlfriend Claire and I had to stop decorating to wipe and wipe. It was a hassle, but I later admitted I just shouldn't have switched from Cascade.
Cascade's sheeting action fights drops that spot, leaves dishes virtually spotless.
I'm sticking to Cascade. Just look how great my glasses come out.
Welcome back to Weeknight Update. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm reading the stuff for this program from the phone and the notebook. Well, the internet on my end isn't 100%. Hopefully by the time this show is up, everything on my end will be alright. But for now, this is the best that I could do, okay? Sorry. Toys Gaming Spot will have another story for everyone in a few moments, but first it's time for the in-between monologue. Every window costs about $500 to $1,800 to install. I hope that you know how to install windows because that's a lot of money. The first glass windows were developed by the Romans in 100 CE. Why? They knew that you can't have a house without windows. They're smart. Glass windows were used in the churches until the 14th century. Why? 18 people broke them. Upper class homes started using windows in the 17th century when someone made the sheets of glass flat. The ordinary homes didn't have those until the early 18th century, so the people who were living in those homes were trapped. And finally, windows that are over 20 years old or older than 20 years old should be replaced. Wait, I didn't know that windows could even get old. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Toy Story. Go ahead, Toy.
Hey guys, Tori Mullins here, and welcome back to Tori's Story. So the next story I'm going to be telling you is about windows. And here's the story. All day long, the little boy worked hard in field and barn and shed, for his people were poor farmers and could not pay a workman, but at sunset there came an hour that was all his own, for his father had given it to him. Then the boy would go up to the top of a hill and across at another hill that rose some miles away. On this far hill stood a house with windows of clear gold and diamonds. They shone and blazed so that it made the boy wink to look at them. But after a while, the people in the house put the people in the house put up shutters, as it seemed, and then it looked like any common farmhouse. The boys supposed they did this because it was supper time, and then he would go into the house and have his supper of bread and milk and so to bed. One day, the boy's father called him and said, You have been a good boy and have earned a holiday. Take this day for your own, but remember that God gave it, and try to learn some good thing. The boy thanked his father and kissed his mother. Then he put a piece of bread in his pocket and started off to find the house with the gold windows. It was pleasant walking. His bare feet made marks in the white dust, and when he looked back, the footprints seemed to be following him and making company for him. His shadow, too, kept beside him and would dance or run with him as he pleased. So it was very cheerful. By the by, he felt hungry, and he sat down by a brown brook that ran through the alder hedge by the roadside, and ate his bread and drank the clear water. Then he scattered the crumbs for the birds, as his mother had taught him to do, and went on his way. After a long time, he came to a high green hill, and when he had climbed the hill, there was the house on the top. But it seemed that the shutters were up, for he could not see the golden windows. He came up to the house, and then he could well have wept, for the windows were of clear glass like any others, and there was no gold anymore without them. A woman came to the door and looked kindly at the boy and asked him what he wanted. I saw the gold windows from our hilltop, he said, and I came to see them, but now they are only glass. The woman shook her head and laughed. We are poor farming people, she said, and are not likely to have gold about our windows. But glass is better to see through. She bade the boy sit down on the broad stone step at the door, and brought him a cup of milk and a cake, and bade him rest. Then she called her daughter, a child of his own age, and nodded kindly at the two, and went back to her work. The little girl was barefooted like himself, and wore a brown cotton gown, but her hair was golden like the windows he had seen, and her eyes were blue like the sky at noon. She led the boy about the farm and showed him her black calf with the white star on its forehead, and he told her about his own at home, which was red with like a chestnut with 4 white feet. Then when they had eaten an apple together, and so had become friends, the boy asked her about the gold windows. The little girl nodded and said she knew all about them. Only he had mistaken the house. "You have come quite the wrong way," she said. "Come with me and I will show you the house with the golden windows, and then you will see for yourself." They went to a knoll that rose behind the farmhouse, and as they went, the little girl told him that the golden windows could only be seen at a certain hour about sunset. "Yes, I know that," said the boy. When they reached the top of the knoll, the girl turned and pointed, and there on a hill far away stood a house with windows of clear gold and diamond, just as he had seen them when they looked again, the boy saw that it was his own home. Then he told the little girl that he must go, and he gave her his best pebble, the white one with the red band that he had carried for a year in his pocket, and she gave him three horse chestnuts, one red like Satan, one spotted, and one white like milk. He kissed her and promised to come again, but he did not tell her what he had learned. So he went back down the hill, and the little girl stood in the sunset light and watched him. The way home was long, and it was dark before the boy reached his father's house, but the lamplight and firelight shone through the windows, making them almost as bright as he had seen them from the hilltop. And when he opened the door, his mother came to kiss him, and his little sister ran to throw her arms around his neck. And his father looked up and smiled from his seat by the fire. "Have you had a good day?" asked his mother. Yes, the boy had a very good day. "And have you learned anything?" asked his father. "Yes," said the boy. "I have learned that our house has windows of gold and diamond." The end. That's the story about windows. So stay tuned where I tell the next story. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Toy. That was fantastic. How about a moment for everyone, huh? So, you and I are talking about windows right now, but most of you want to know why a certain house in Brazil doesn't have windows. Whoever wanted to make that house didn't know what a real house looks like. By the way, every house should have a roof, a door, and a few windows. Whoever built a house that doesn't have windows was a person who wanted the home to look like a prison. And that person's either evil or crazy. Keep that in mind as we begin the talking time segment, because it will come in handy in a matter of seconds. Speaking of talking time, let's have a little talking time right now. a company in Brazil called Bloco Arquitetos made a house that's surrounded by brick screens and wide entry portals that open up the central courtyard to the exterior. In other words, no windows. Really? You have a home without windows. That's like going out with socks but no shoes. Now, it is 4,520 square feet long, and it is rectangular. By the way, we're talking about the house. But as I have stated before, the home has no windows. None whatsoever. And windows are very important when you are trying to stay nice and chill in bed. Because apparently there's this thing called lufting that's supposed to air out one's home every day, even in the bitter cold. And everyone should do it according to Time magazine, because it allows people to sleep easily and soundly. Now, the problem with that is the fact that pests could break into your house while you're sleeping and try to eat your entire food. Sometimes you just can't win, can you? No. Now, how about some random advice for the world, huh? If you see a dirty window, then please clean it. Trust me, that window needs cleaning. If you are going to clean a window, then please do not use either your tongue or your own urine. Always make sure that nobody breaks a window. And also, never make out with the window. And finally, if you see two elephants making out in front of your window, then please duck for cover. That window is about to break. Now, this is your last chance to answer this week's Comment of the Week question, which is, if you had a store where you could only sell glasses, windows, and carpets, then what would you call your store and how much money would everything cost? Go over to the post section of my YouTube channel page and answer that question as honestly and as thoughtfully as you can. Hopefully everything will be all right on my end tomorrow, because tomorrow night, you and I will talk about carpets together, with some help from MP, of course, Tori's Gaming Spot, Mild Chocolate Christian Freight Tees, Candy Bar Tunes, and GDQ, the YouTuber, aka GDQ. Will Abraham the Dragon Ball and Hasbro himself in 2004 return to the program? I don't know, but that's it for tonight, and I'll see you tomorrow. That's news. I'm out, skis, 4x4.
There's great TV pleasure at your command. Hello out there from TV land. Nick at Night brings it home to you.